What's up guys, today I'm reviewing the AMX Defender and seeing if it is worth it or if you should just pass it up. The AMX has 1,325 hit points, which is about average if not a bit higher for lights at tier 8. For the armor, what am I saying? There really is no armor on the Defender. We'll check that out more in Armor Inspector later in the video. The view range is very good at 290.4, which is on the higher side for a light at tier 8. The concealment is also very good for the AMX. Damage per minute is at 2,138, which is about average for a tier 8 light. The magazine reload time is a bit long at 12.96 seconds, but the shell reload time is pretty quick at 1.67 seconds, so it's like a trade-off for the reload times. There are 4 shells in the magazine, which is a benefit compared to other auto-loading lights at tier 8. The penetration is decent, but you'll struggle to pin more heavily armored tier 8s and 9s with the AP sitting at 215, APCR 271, and the HE at 44. The damage isn't anything to go crazy over, but when paired with a 4-round magazine, you can dish out a lot of damage with the AP at 160, APCR 130, and the HE at 175. Aiming time is good, sitting at 3.2 seconds, and the dispersion is not the best, but okay to work with at 0.326. The gun elevation and depression suck on the AMX Defender at 10 and 6 degrees respectively. If you find yourself in a situation where you have to use them, you will not be that effective. The AMX is pretty fast with the top speed going forward being 65, in reverse 23, and the average speed 43, which is more than fast enough to spot, reposition, flank, and support your team. The turn rates are good on the Defender with the turret at 55.89 and the hull at 64.78 degrees a second. The terrain crossing capacity and engine power look very good for the AMX Defender. I'll flash the consumables, provisions, ammunition, and equipment on the screen. That's just how I like to run the AMX. The credit coefficient is at 170%, so it'll make a good chunk of credits for you. Everyone will be able to pin the AMX. You'll get a few lucky bounces here and there, but everyone will pin the front, sides, and definitely the rear. However, you do have some spaced armor on the sides right here and some on the rear here. You really don't want to get caught out in the open in this tank. It falls more into a supporting role, so what are some tactics you could use to effectively play the AMX? Peekaboo, especially if you're able to get off the entire magazine. Trading, but you gotta be careful about that. It depends on how much alpha the enemy has and HP you have. Hit and run is pretty effective with the speed and if you get the whole magazine off. Circle of Death is pretty good in the Defender. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to go frontline because you have no armor. It depends on 1v1s if you can clip them out or not, and sniping is iffy on the AMX. You'll be risking it at long range, but if you have shots, might as well take them. It all really depends on how the battle is going. Just use common sense and you'll be fine. If you think I left any important information or tactics out about the AMX Defender, leave them down in the comments below. Also, thank you for all the support you guys have been showing me lately. You do not realize how much it really means to me. But anyways, back to the video. I have 2 replays for you, both of them are against tier 8 and 9. So far in this battle, we capped out base A, and I decided to be a bit more aggressive and go frontline. I know a couple seconds ago I said don't do that, but my playstyle is more aggressive, and in pretty much any tank, that is how I'm going to play for the most part. It all really depends on how the battle is going, but if you know how to play more aggressive on the front line, you can make it work, but I don't recommend it. The T30 is low enough to where I could clip him out of the game, so I'm taking a little bit of a risk doing this, but I rush in there and I snap 2 shots into him. Right as I'm about to snap the 3rd one off, my team ends up taking him out. I still have 1 more shot left, so I snap it into the rev, and I get hit in return, so I decide to back up and wait for the full reload. The 4-round clip could be a blessing and a curse. You could get more shots off, but at the same time, for me personally, I feel pressured every time to try to get every shot off. Instead of 2 or 3 and backing up into cover, I just feel like I have to get the 4 off or else I'm doing something wrong. I decided to be super aggressive and rush in, trying to get my clip into the AMX 5100. But as you can see, in this circumstance, I needed the gun elevation. However, like I said, this tank's gun elevation sucks. This is a perfect example of when you need to use gun elevation, the AMX will fail you in certain situations. Thankfully, my team pushed in and took out the AMX. If they did not, I would have been pretty screwed or lowered down quite a bit on HP. Just like any other autoloader, the defenders have to rely on the team to support them. I look back, the Tiger 2 and the Tortoise are both staring at me. The Tiger 2 is the only one able to get a shot into me before I could get away. And the Waffle Tractor takes out one of our teammates, and I am almost fully reloaded, so I push in and clip him out of the game. You always want to focus those low HP tanks first. It is now a 4v2 situation against the Tortoise and the Tiger 2 that we spotted earlier. It looks like my team is focusing the Tortoise, but the Tiger 2 is not spotted just yet. Looking back at this replay, I should have focused the Tortoise first and helped my team out. I really thought they would have been able to handle him though. And at the time, it looked like the Waffle Tractor really needed some help with that Tiger 2. So I get into a position where I could get some shots into the Tiger 2 before we end up taking him out of the game. It is a 3v1 against the Tortoise, and let's let's be real for a second. It's a tortoise. There's no way he's gonna win this. But I missed both my shots in my magazine, so I really have no room to talk. I'm waiting until I'm close to being reloaded before I push out, and the tortoise misses a shot, so I was going to go in and circle a death on him before my team ended up taking him out, and we get the win. We got 2,129 damage dealt and 2,314 damage assisted, so pretty much we did 4,000 damage, right? 2 tanks destroyed and the first class. And as you can see, the defender does make a pretty good chunk of credits for you. And we got second on the leaderboard for that battle. We are a light tank and I'm going to spot for my team. Immediately we see that there are 3 enemy tanks pushing the left hand side of the map. And we could always assume that their 2 TDs are over in that camping spot at their spawn. The Object 84 is lagging a bit behind, so I try to set up a little ambush spot and I ended up missing. Let's just pretend that never happened. I pushed towards base here to see if I could get a few more shots into the enemy and prevent them from just rushing through this side. This is going to be a little bit of a difficult spot to hold because the gun depression on the AMX absolutely sucks, but I'll do my best to hold this spot and prevent the enemy from pushing in. I also got to be careful in case the enemy TDs are back by their spawn. I decide to pull up and get some shots into the enemy team. The first shot, I don't know where it went to, but the second one goes into the 84. I get a lucky bounce from him. I don't know how. Second shot, don't know where it went, but me and the FCM end up trading on the last one that I have in my magazine. I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't the smartest play I could have done right there. Of course, the 84 decides to start rushing me when I am not fully reloaded yet. He gets a shot into me. I don't know what he was thinking when he decided to rush me. I'm able to get a shot into him and our teammates take him out. The FCM started pushing towards our Object 84. I don't know why he decided to do that, but I end up tracking him in place, allowing our teammates to punish him a little bit more before he gets into cover. I'm on a full reload, so I decide to check out the battle and see if I need to reposition somewhere else to support my team, but it looks like they got everything else under control for the most part, so I'm going to keep supporting our Object 84. The FCM is a one-shot, but the T92 rushes in and they take out our 84. Instead of running away, I push in, take out the FCM, and empty the rest of our clip into the T92. I start backing up because I'm on a reload, and that T92 could easily lower me down to a one-shot or just delete me from the game. Also, if I end up backing up, the team behind me and at our spawn could easily get shots into the T92 if he decides to push me. Always know where your teammates are at so you could easily get into a position where they can support you. Of course, I end up missing the first shot, but I empty the rest of the magazine into him, and I end up using the destroyed tank of the Object 84 as cover to prevent him from hitting me. I'm not reloaded at this point, so I'm still trying to hide from him, and in the process of doing this, he ends up getting a shot into our 50 TP, lowering him down to a one-shot. As soon as I'm reloaded, I start playing Ring Around the Rosie with him until he finally gets out into the open. I get a few shots into him before our teammates take him out. I still have 2 rounds left, so I try to pop one off into the E75. Of course, it does not go through, so I decide to go on a full reload and use this hill and rock as cover. This part of the battle was so much fun. This E75 was completely clueless to what was going on, and all I did was use hit and run tactics. I would run out, get my entire magazine into him, and just run back into cover, wait until I'm reloaded, and repeat. Remember earlier in the video when I said hit and run tactics are super effective, especially if you're able to get the entire magazine off? This is a perfect example of that. I pull out and he misses his shot, but that was extremely close. However, I end up dumping my entire clip into him, and right as I'm about to run away, the T30 rolls up, shoves me out of the way, and just sends him back to the garage. All that's left is the enemy Hori, and I believe he was over at that TD spot throughout the entire battle. Is the AMX Defender worth it? Well, it depends. I believe there's a skill gap to playing the AMX. If you know how to play the French light tanks effectively and you enjoy that playstyle, then yeah, sure, get the AMX Defender. You'll enjoy it. But if you don't like the playstyle of the French light tanks and you don't know how to use that playstyle effectively, you will suffer and not like the AMX Defender. There are better premium light tanks at tier 8, but the AMX Defender is good and I actually like the playstyle of the tank. What do you guys think of the AMX Defender? Do you think there's a skill gap to be learned when playing the tank or before you get it? Or do you believe that it is worth it? Let me know in the comments